Kaminsky, Chopper880.
All right, Pat, we are just currently getting a look at the World Trade Center. We have something that has happened here at the World Trade Center. We noticed flame and an awful lot of smoke from one of the towers of the World Trade Center. We are just coming up on this scene. This is easily 3/4 of the way up. Whatever has occurred has just occurred within minutes, and we are trying to determine exactly what that is, but currently we have a lot of smoke at the top of the towers of the World Trade Center. We will keep you posted.
Tom, we just saw that smoke go up at about the same time you did. It was like one huge puff.
That's exactly what we had seen. We had seen what we had turned around with Jeff. We were at the George Washington Bridge. We had seen a fireball, and I can tell you it appears as though something has gone into the World Trade Center. I'm looking at the north side of what I believe, what is the North Tower, so I would guess that's tower number 1. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is about 3/4 of the way up, maybe even 3/4 of the way up Tower 1. There is smoke now billowing out of the top of the World Trade Center. I'm looking at what appears to be broken windows. I want to say that this is about 10 stories down from the top, maybe a little bit more than that. But there now appears to be smoke pouring out of the gash of the north side of the World Trade Center. My heavens, this has just happened within several minutes. Let's try. We're going to try to get a little bit of additional detail about this. But currently, Lower Manhattan is, I would say, as of right now, going to be a big trouble spot, to say the least. The inbound side of the Lincoln, about a 30-minute delay. The Holland, about a 40-minute delay. Let's go back over to Craig Allen,
Tom,
WCBS. Yes.
Before we go to Craig, can we stay with you for a second?
Absolutely,
We're going to describe what we saw, because we have a distant view of the Trade Center from our studio here in Midtown Manhattan. What we saw was one giant plume of smoke. Not a very dark color smoke, but a light color smoke.
All right. What we had seen, we were at the George Washington Bridge beginning to make our way south. We saw what appeared to be literally a fireball at the top of the World Trade Center. I am just coming up now and looking at the north face of the World Trade Center. It appears, at least from this vantage point, that something has hit it. Something has gone into the World Trade Center. I do not have that confirmed in any way, shape, or form, but there is a gash across, I would want to say, about 10 stories down from the top of the World Trade Center.
All right, Tom.
Sort of from right to left and making its way down. Yes, Jeff.
Okay, we're going to interrupt you here. We've found an eyewitness who's going to talk to us about what they see. Smoke at this point is billowing from that top eighth, let's say, of the one tower.
And now we've seen what it's like from the air in the word pictures of Tom Kaminsky. What's it like on the ground here? We have an eyewitness who's called us, who is on the way to work, driving to the World Trade Center. Hello, sir? Yes, what are you seeing?
I see a gaping hole at the top of the World Trade Center, almost to the top, not quite up there. I wasn't looking at it as I was driving towards it. I just heard a huge explosion. It seemed like it blew out as opposed to something going into it. And I'm looking at it real close now. Obviously, I'm not going to get there, so I have to turn around somewhere here.
How far away are you right now?
I'm 4 blocks away looking right at it.
Can you see the smoke coming from that hole?
It's a huge hole. There are flames. There's smoke. There's smoke on the others. You know, it looks like the impact was on the northbound side, or something blew out on the northbound side. But I see smoke coming out on the southbound and the westbound side also. And it's the northbound tower that this happened in.
The North Tower is the one that's closer to Midtown.
Yes, that's right.
And where are you driving right now?
Well, I'm on West Street, so I'm looking right at it. I'm only 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
This is as far as I'm going to be able to go. I'm going to have to turn around somewhere.
All right.
WCBS
Thank you
News
for
Time.
that.
8:52. Again, we're following as there is smoke coming from the World Trade Center, the top eighth of the North Tower. There's a gash apparently in the side of the building. And now, WCBS News Time, 8:52. We have
breaking news on WCBS 880, right here, right now.
I believe if we can get in touch with him, we have a witness who saw what happened at the World Trade Center. M. David Levin, are you with us?
I am right here at the foot of the World Trade Center on the north side. Smoke is billowing out of the, I would say it's about 15 stories down from the top of the number 2, I believe it is, World Trade Center. Flames are coming out also. This apparently was a commuter plane that smashed into it with such force that the windows of the Pick a Bagel, in which I was just about to buy a bagel, smashed with a big bang. Everybody was very frightened, and it sounded like a fabulous explosion. And indeed, there is great devastation up there.
What happened to the commuter plane? It looks from what we're seeing that it might have actually gone through one side of and out the other.
I can't see the south side of the building, but it could well have been. It hit with such force that the whole neighborhood really shook.
Well, Tom Kaminsky may have a better view for us, David. He's in Chopper880. What are you seeing now, Tom?
I think we can sort of confirm that at least to some degree. We are now looking at flames shooting out of the north side of number 1 World Trade Center, but there are at least some windows blown out and smoke billowing out of the opposite side. We have not been able to get to the south side of the building yet. We're sort of staying right here. We have a very good vantage point, so we're staying here for the time being. However, there is smoke billowing out of both sides, really of all 4 sides, it would appear, of World Trade Center Tower number 1. And as we've been saying, this is anywhere between 10 and 15 stories down from the top. Now, as you look at the World Trade Center, this is the building with the antenna on top of it. So there is quite a bit of flame now coming out of the north face of that building, and only smoke. I don't see any flame coming out of the other approaches, but I talked to our pilot, Arthur Anderson, and he says he did see something go into that building. We were at the George Washington Bridge and beginning to make our way south. I looked up and saw a fireball, but Arthur Anderson, my pilot, says that he certainly did see something right at that building, about 10 to 15 stories up.
Tom, stay with us for a minute, will you? We want to talk to WCBS producer Kelly Edwards on the ground. Of course, you can see the fire. Where are you?
I'm just about 15 blocks north of the World Trade Center right now on 7th Avenue. Fire trucks are screaming down 7th Avenue trying to get to this fire. It looks like the fire is about 10 stories from the top of the building. Flames are shooting out. Smoke is pouring out. This gash goes from one side of the building practically all the way to the other. You can see thick black smoke pouring out of the front of the building, the north side. I can also see it coming out of the west side, and it's certainly coming off the entire top of the building right now. It's completely covered with smoke. You can barely see the top of the building. You can see flames shooting out of the east side of that gash. The gash seems to be getting bigger. I can now see flames coming out of the east and the west side of the gash. It seems like the windows are breaking as the fire moves down the building.
Well, we had heard earlier from one of the witnesses, M. David Levin, told us that the ground floor windows had been shaking, Kelly. Now, everybody we've been speaking with seems to have a vantage point of one side of the World Trade Center. We can tell you that at least 2 facades of the building have giant holes, at least 2 or 3 stories high in them. We don't know what's become of people inside or where that plane might have ended up. We're trying to find out the latest for you. Of course, we're very little in the way of details. Emergency crews are still on their way to the scene as of this point.
Stay with WCBS 880 because we are right on top of this for you with reporters on the way to the scene. Tom Kaminsky is overhead giving us the bird's eye view and in fact was the first to tell us about it and see it.
Tom's been hovering around. Let's go to him right now up in Chopper880. Tom.
All right, Jeff, back here with you. And we're trying to gather some information as to what type of plane this might have been into this area. I can tell you, as we are looking here at the north side, the north face of Tower number 1, the gash that is in the building runs from about 10 stories up to about 15 stories, going from right to left, sloping to the left diagonally. Smoke is pouring out of that face, and now we have quite a bit of smoke and flame pouring out of the eastern side of Tower number 1, and that also about 10 to